Okay. Oh, hey, what's up, guys? So, some of you specialists out there in the E4 Mafia, you probably don't want to be a corporal, but you may not have a choice coming up in the future. Let me talk about who might be affected by this. What's up, my friends? U.S. Army veteran Christopher Chaos, and today we're talking about some new policies with Corporal, but also kind of filling in some questions that people asked me before. They want to know, how does it work for being a corporal? How do people get promoted to being a corporal? Well, we're talking about it now because people want to know about it, but also because there's been some recent changes. So we're going to be covering some of those changes, but also, by the way, if you like this high-speed book right here, it's actually just a notebook for you to take notes in, and it is available in the link down below. I actually make these, and they're sold on Amazon, so help support the channel. I got a couple other notebooks that may interest you to help you take some notes, but have a cool little design to it kind of a thing. Also, while you're down in that description box, click on that subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed, click on that bell to get notifications and become a part of the notification platoon. So let's dive into what kind of is the purpose of a corporal a little bit, how promotion used to work for corporal, and how this new policy affects individuals. So a corporal is still the pay grade of an E4. So a specialist and a corporal, same exact pay, except for a corporal has more responsibility, more work in some cases. So a lot of people hate being a corporal for that reason sometimes, because it's like, man, it's just the same pay, but more work. So they kind of hate it, but some people like it because it gives them a chance to get a little bit of experience as being an NCO kind of a thing, even though some people don't get treated always like an NCO when they're a corporal, but kind of gives them at least a little bit of a chance to kind of get that experience to prepare them for when they become a sergeant for the pay grade of E5. So in the past, the way it kind of worked was if you had some high-speed specialist maybe, then you could probably promote them to corporal. Again, it's still called a promotion, even though you're not getting paid anything extra, but they'd promote them to corporal. Now they get a chance to be maybe a team leader, whatever, be in a leadership kind of position and get a little bit of experience to help them when they become an E5 and become a sergeant. That was regardless of MOS. I know some people would always think that it was only infantry that did that. No, it's any MOS. I was actually a corporal for like a month before I made points to make it to E5. I've known other people that were corporals because they didn't have like an NCO in the team leader slot, so they took the highest ranking specialist that was high speed enough and made them a corporal, so that way they could fill in as a team leader until either they got a sergeant in or that person just got promoted to a sergeant. So that is essentially kind of how it used to work, and some of you veterans out there may be familiar with it in that way, but a new memorandum has come out that outlines a new way that they are going to be going about who becomes a corporal. So this affects specialists currently, but it also affects corporals currently. So let's talk about how it could affect you. The new way of doing it is essentially, if I'm reading it correctly, a specialist will automatically become a corporal if they have two requirements. They meet the two requirements to become a corporal, automatically they're going to become a corporal. Those two requirements is, one, being recommended for the board. So they go to the promotion board, they pass the promotion board. Second requirement is BLC. That is the basic leaders course. That is what some of you may have known in the past as PLDC or the warrior leaders course. That is the non-commissioned officer course to become the pay grade of E5 to become a sergeant. So a E4, a specialist that has both been to the board and been to BLC, is automatically going to be promoted to corporal. Now, I would imagine if you graduated BLC and you have enough points to make it E5, they probably won't bother making you corporal. You're just gonna get pinned E5 the first of the next month. But if you are someone that does not yet have the point requirements to make E5, and you've got those two requirements, you're gonna get promoted probably. But promoted to corporal. So kind of a bummer for some people that do not want to be corporal because they feel like it's just more work for the same pay. That's kind of how the new policy kind of works. This also affects corporals as well currently in the Army. So let me talk about how it may affect some of you out there if you're currently a corporal. So because those are the new requirements to become a corporal, board and BLC, if you are a corporal currently and you don't have those two, then you're gonna go back to being a specialist. Now, this does not take effect immediately. This actually I've seen takes effect on June 30th. So that probably means that if you are a specialist that's got the board and BLC, then July 1st, you probably have orders for corporal. And then those corporals that don't have those requirements are going back to being a specialist. So a pain in the ass maybe for corporals because they have to change their rank back to specialist, and maybe a pain in the ass for some specialists because now you have to become a corporal. This does also affect National Guard and Reserves, but I saw that I don't think it affects them until like August or September or something like that. So it mainly will first affect active duty individuals, and then in a month or two affect the Reserves and National Guard. So it is now basically going to be an automatic promotion to corporal. I don't know. I mean, seems like an okay idea. I know that people are gonna hate it, and I can understand that too, I guess. In some ways, if I'm trying to look at it on the bright side, it's good because that specialist that's already been to the board, already been to the non-commissioned officer course, gets a chance to immediately start learning what it's like to be an NCO. Immediately start kind of being in that role and kind of prepare them for when they actually are an E5 and being a sergeant, and in a lot of cases probably treated more like an NCO then. Technically, a corporal should be still treated like an NCO. Just the way things are currently in the Army, in some cases, yes, they might still be treated like an NCO, but in some places they're just treated as a high-speed specialist still. So it really depends on the unit, on the individuals in the unit sometimes as far as how that person is treated when they're a corporal. So looking on the bright side, yeah, it probably helps the soldier better prepare for being an E5, being a sergeant, maybe make it a little bit less jacked up because they got a little bit of a chance to kind of experience things, and maybe some people gave them a little bit of, slack as being a corporal, being a little bit jacked up because they didn't know the ways just yet. Whereas when you're an E5 and you're a sergeant, you're a little bit jacked up, you're getting a lot more harsher kind of criticism to you if you're jacked up then. So in a way, it kind of allows you to kind of test the waters a little bit, feel it out, get a little bit of experience, and then hopefully you get that extra little stripe and you become an actual sergeant. Now maybe you're better prepared. On the downside, yeah, it sucks because you're gonna get more responsibility, you're gonna make the same amount of pay, and probably not always get treated like you probably should get treated as a corporal. So definitely, it's gonna be mixed. There's gonna be some people that don't mind it. They'll be like, cool, it gives me a chance to kind of experience being an NCO, but I'm sure there's also gonna be a good majority of people out there that are gonna hate it and be like, oh man, now I have to become a corporal, unless you can make points right away. I think if you can make points right away, then you can probably skip the whole process and not become a corporal and just go straight to being a sergeant. So I think this will definitely be interesting. We'll kind of see how this kind of plays out. Probably gonna start seeing a lot more corporals walking around now, maybe. As before you just really, if you were a promotable specialist, just trying to make points, then you just kind of wrote it out until you made points unless your unit made you be a corporal. But now it sounds like you're gonna have no choice unless you have the points. So probably gonna start seeing more corporals in the Army. Now, if you're maybe kind of a little bit curious as to what some of the responsibilities are at different ranks, I have a video right here that kind of gives a little bit of a general summary of that a little bit. And then I also got my latest video uploaded down here, so if you want to check that out. Links in the description for all my social media, some of my notebooks. I got some new ones on the way. Thanks for hanging out. I'm Christopher Chaos, and I'll see you next time. See ya.